This game has to be the most ambitious title of its time to the other new RPG AAA titles. This game still kicks its ass all over the floor and saying, this is how you make a good RPG. And for that, it jumps to the top of my favourite game list. You can already tell I love this game. So this is pretty much going to be a love letter to CD Projekt Red. You know I can't post this without getting into trouble. What the fuck happened to your mask? Oh, you mean the old mask? Yeah, it got a rip in it and I was wearing it like a toupee at the end of the last review. So I just swapped it for this one now. Oh, that fucker. All this says is that I love CD Projekt Red 10 times. I love magic. Now, how's that hand thing go? No, fuck it, triangle. This is honestly the first game that I've ever gonna issue a health warning on it, because it's that good that it drawed me in that I couldn't even stop playing it for about 12 hours straight, and before I realised I was like, oh shit, I've got to eat. The Witcher 3 is set in a fantasy world. It's in third person sword fighting action packed with deep RPG mechanics with a heavy story element of love and deceit and a gorgeous world for you to explore and learn interesting things about it. For me, there were creatures that I never even heard of, and some of them I'd had to check to see if they were in-game monsters or if they'd been around longer. And to my amazement, a lot of them have been. And if you're into story monsters, there's a lot of them in this. You play a Witcher called Geralt of Rivia. You can customise him within a certain limit with like a new haircut, clothes or a beard. For the campaign, you're looking for Ciri, who's like Geralt's adopted daughter while the Wild Hunt is after her, so it's a race to see who gets to her first. There is a slight learning curve to The Witcher 3. Learning the controls will take a bit of time to get used to, and what they do, especially in combat to the inventory and so on. And it can be a bit overwhelming within the first 2 hours of gameplay. However, once when you get used to it and learn it and how everything works, it becomes like second nature. The movement controls are fluid. Apart from when you're swimming underwater, it feels a bit awkward where you have a surface button and go deep button, compared to other games where you just use the camera control for that. The combat is slightly different compared to other hack and slash games. You've got a steel sword, what you use on humans and other things, and then you've got a silver sword, what you use on creatures. This type of style is to keep the combat interesting, where you have to switch between the two swords. Where they use the different attack styles, there is a massive amount of enemy variety for you to learn, where their weaknesses are and their strengths. Like the Wraith, you need to use your magic track to weaken it so you can damage it, and as you select new abilities for you to use, it slows down time while you select that new ability. You can unlock new abilities as you level up. There are these attribute points for you to apply to any skill you like or need. For me, I'll mainly just pull it into the sword perks. You also have access to Witcher senses, what you can use to track down monsters or to see what you can loot, and there is so much loot in this game, it's unbelievable. I didn't know what to do with it most of the time. There are massive amounts of armour and weapon pieces with crafting and alchemy included. The inventory system is easy to use. The way everything is laid out, you can easily find weapons, armours and stats, which I appreciated. It was right there in your face as soon when you brung it on. You can easily track what missions you are doing. The inventory system updates automatically through the missions what you are doing, so you can go back and come back to it later and you know exactly where you left off. There's a day and night cycle, and some missions are dependent on this, where some of the missions take place at night. They put in this meditation time to speed up time to the point that you need it to be. You earn XP throughout missions and side quests and contract missions, but if you just want to kill enemies and get XP, it doesn't really work that way. There are interesting side missions what feel like it's part of the main mission storyline. A lot of them are very well written. For me, the side mission that comes into mind is the Haunted Tower one, and you find out why it's haunted. Spoiler alert, for this side mission, when you bring her lover back to the tower, I was like, this is fucked up. Did I do the right thing here? And I really did question myself about that. Now we get back to the Witcher contract missions, what act like go here, kill this monster, get your coin. I was impressed with these because yes, it is go here, kill this thing, go back and get your reward like in most other games. But with this, the fights were really interesting and pretty damn good. Find their pattern and attack. And I've got to say, this is how you do these type of missions. Go here, kill this thing, and giving us something interesting to fight. I was looking forward to the next Witcher contract mission. Did anyone else count how many times he said in that sentence, go here, kill this thing, collect your reward? I think I could start a drinking game with that. There are decisions and consequences in The Witcher 3. The game don't hold your hand and tell you this is a good decision, this is a bad decision. It's more of along the lines what you would do in that situation. And I praise the game for doing that. Okay, they took their time with these branching paths in the story, and I was stunned with some of the outcomes of them. You can easily get lost in this world and get sidetracked very easily like I did, and that's not include sitting down and playing cards in your off time. Oh, I almost forgot, you got a horse called Roach what you can call to you at any time. In my case, the fucker did run away from me from time to time when I called to Git. Unfortunately, the game did crash 3 times, although this is within 100 hours of playing the game. Lucky, this game does have a good auto-save system. The Witcher 3 is sort of an open world with hub worlds attached to it, and you can fast travel between destinations with these signposts, long as you discover them. I like discovering new places, it's exciting with these beautiful landscape areas that I could stare at for hours. And then there's these marks on the map. What marks as a point of interest like loot or a small town location need of your help or getting rid of some bandits or monsters or something along them lines and returning the areas to the people. For the graphics, they are still mesmerising, especially when you catch it at sunset and some of the colours mixing with each other. It's beautiful enough to be a painting of itself. The animations are brilliant, especially on the facial expressions. That's one of the first things that I noticed. The second thing was the sword fighting. Everything acted fine, well, better than fine, even though at times there are animation hiccups. But I can forgive these by how much is in this game. For the cutscenes, they are impressive because most of them are in-game scenes and not rendered ones. And yes, there are some rendered cutscenes what have been implemented for good reason. They do try and keep the balance to the in-game scenes so you couldn't tell the difference. Only reason how I knew which was which in the game scenes because I used the DLC that changes their outfits. And yes, there are nude cutscenes as well. You know, I think that these cutscenes are masterpieces, what makes this world feel more alive. I can't remember any character's name, but fuck, there are so many characters that left a significant impression on me, like the 3 messed up witches, and the dwarf, and my favourite's gotta be the troll.
Just so happens I have some paint on me.
Oh! 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 Uh-oh.
At that point on, I just wanted one as a pet or a companion, and fuck knows what this is.
Blessings, absolutions, enlightened advice. Believe me, these folks need all of it. I'd watch over them still if they fulfilled their end. But lately they offer these pathetic scraps.
And there are so many interesting side characters, and I can't forget about the one that sings. I can just get lost in that voice. The voice acting is nicely done with all the different accents that you encounter from the side characters to the main characters and so on. The soundtrack is brilliant to the point that you could just dance to it. It goes well with the flow of the game. One of my favourite parts of the game must be the stage play and how Geralt is trying his best at it, and by your decisions on what you pick, the play can end in disaster or into a comedy masterpiece. And I've got to say, I'll make a crap sheep herder. For how long the game is, it's more of down to you. If you go for it with the main missions and nothing else, it could probably be done around about the 40-hour mark. Yeah, for me, I've done a lot of the side missions and the side activities and exploring. I clocked around about 100 hours or so. So in the end, I'm glad to give it a 10 out of 10, and I'd definitely recommend it. However, word of warning, once when you get past the 2-hour mark in this game, it will take your social life away. And to make it worse, we get onto the DLC now. Now we get down to the DLC. I'm not going to include these appearance packs or some other things along that line. This is mainly on the story content DLC. So the first one I'm going to start off with is the Heart of Stone DLC expansion pack. I was pleasantly surprised by how much content that this had. You get new areas to explore, new enemies, side quests, and an intense, interesting storyline. Usually I tell you a bit about the storyline here, but it's very hard to say anything without spoiling it. It all starts off when you meet this guy and he gives you a contract to fight a monster, what turns out to be a gigantic toad. Jason, I found your toad. It's about 30 years too late from the NES, but I found it. And then on out, I'm just going to say the majority of the campaign involves around a deal. That's really all I can say without giving away too much. Where the story evolves around unravelling what's going on, and I'm going to give the applause to the writers here. Even though I found out who this guy was very early on, it's still a brilliant story to unravel. There was a lot of parts in this DLC where I was like, holy fucking shit, I can't believe he just done that. For those of you who played this DLC, I'm talking about the part where you go into the memory painting. I think my favourite part was when Geralt gets processed and attends a wedding. You can see that he's completely out of his element here, and it just made me crackle a couple of times, especially on the speech and the antler horns what he had to wear. For the characters, I thought they were well done, from the medic.
Honey, calm down. He's dead.
I'm sure something can be done.
Let it go.
Damn it!
To the guy with the Mohican.
We're currently without a roof over our heads.
To the Mirror Man.
Coin. I have a feeling it could come in handy.
Now for the downside, there was a certain part that annoyed me, was searching for this alchemy ingredient for a certain heist mission, and I don't think anyone would be disappointed in the heist mission itself. I thought it was brilliant the way you were setting it up and everything, but that's off topic now, back to the topic in hand. It has you find this ingredient for a certain setup. I didn't know where to find this vial of blood from. I looked all over the place for it, and in the end I had to quick search it on Google. And I really did swear about it when I found out that it was on this little fucking island what I've been to multiple times. I could see this pissing players off like it did with me, who's not into the alchemy side of things. All in all, this is a memorable DLC, which I was happy that I got to play. And I could see it done in around about 9 to 15 hours, depending on how you play it. However, if you do all the side missions and explore every nook and cranny, I could see it lasting a lot longer. So I think that it's a decent length. Get on with the next DLC, what you can't tell us about. Now that brings us to the Blood and Wine DLC.
Have no fear, good man. Our labours shall be done quickly. Prowlers to be punished for good.
Oh, this is shit! Oh.
Get out!
In the flesh.
Yeah, that wasn't wine. I meant to take that to the doctor this morning. Well, at least it's worked out for the better. So let's begin with the story. The Duchess of fuck knows where. Let's just call it Faraway Land. She sends 2 of her knights to find Geralt and offer him a contract on this beast what's been killing her people. And as you meet these 2 knights, you can instantly tell they're from a different world to Novigrad, even though the bandits do make fun of them from this. And after that, a little battle takes place, then the knights bring you back to their land and to the Duchess. As you investigate what's been killing her knights, and you quickly find out what the beast is, and that this game makes vampires look awesome, hence the name Blood and Wine.
We don't have to fight.
You are wrong. I cannot let you leave.
When I first started off, I noticed how wealthy the land is. It's not miserable like Novigrad. It seems to be a land much more rich and fertile in plant life and not been touched by war.
Name or speak
It's like a fairy tale land that you see in the old movies of knights and kings, errands, whatever. It's got that atmosphere and the posh accent and the appropriate tired theme. I like this new land. It's much more better than the others that I got to visit and explore, and taking part in the competitions of this side story of true love. It made a change, especially fighting that boulder thing at the start. I did notice difficulty spikes from time to time. As I was playing, it didn't take away from the game. It's just enough to make you swear. It's just something that you should be aware of before going into this. That's really the only downside to this DLC. I thought that the new mutations to add to your perk tree was a welcome. It added something fresh and new for me to learn. Oh, and I forgot that you get an estate to fix up as well. 4 characters, they are well done again. They seem to be on a winning streak with these characters. Still, the one that's most developed has to be the Duchess herself, with all the different emotions that she has, and she steals the show every time when she's on screen. When she takes part in your investigations at times, she's very formal for her time and caring and ruthless other times when she needs to be. I remember this one part, what did make me laugh, when the Duchess is acting like a total arse to Garrel and you get a choice of dialogue. Yep, you guessed it. I went with the sarcastic route.
At times, I hunt foxes. Do you know how it works? The ducal huntsman releases the hounds. They catch the fox's scent, chase the animal down, and lead the battue to it. All within an hour. You, Witcher, have had a week. The aid of my most excellent knights. Yet, you have tracked absolutely nothing down. I've begun to suspect my beagles might have done a better job.
Then perhaps your grace should have sent a beagle instead of a witcher after the vampire.
I think that this DLC can be done in around about the 20-hour mark if you're going to do nothing but the main missions. I found that this DLC is rich in content. I like the characters and it was the perfect goodbye to the game, and I enjoyed playing it. I think my favourite part to this DLC was the fairy tale land. That just had me in stitches where it done parodies of like the Three Bears, and my favourite one's got to be Little Red Riding Hood. That fucking wolf. Oh, so fucking lazy, you just couldn't be bothered to get off the ground. So have you played The Witcher 3 and its DLC? What did you think of it? Leave it in the comments below. Until next game, you're fucking off. Thank fuck that the tutorial was short and sweet. If they didn't have a tutorial in it, you can easily get lost with all the mechanics in the game. It was very well done, it didn't overstay its welcome, it taught you the basics of the game. And as you track down Ciri throughout the campaign, you actually get to play as her at certain parts of the game, and you see how overpowered she is at certain parts. Oh, this is shit! Oh, I can't breathe. Well, that brings us to the Blood and Wine DLC. Oh, this is shit.